Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I'm your host, Darrell Scott, and together we will dive into the lives and careers of the jazz legends who have left a rhythmic imprint on the world. Be prepared to reminisce on the highs and the lows of their musical journey and the trials that sculpted their timeless musical gems. We'll preserve the legacy of these extraordinary maestros and find inspiration in the melodies of their lives. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Now, let's get to the show. Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I am Darrell Scott. Today, it's a young lady who is what you call a rising star. Trajectory is going up. You need to know about her now because when she blows up, you can say, I knew her when, because that's what I'm going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Brittany Atterberry. And she's from this area. So we got a whole lot to talk about, a whole lot of friends, a whole lot of mutual friends, a whole bunch of stuff. Brittany, how are you today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I am fine. Here's my first question. I've been involved with jazz before you were born. I'll just say it that way.
Yeah.
So I think, and I haven't counted them, but I'm willing to count them. I think there's 17,478 sax players in the world. Why did you pick the saxophone to have all this competition?
Ooh. Well, fortunately, saxophone was something that saved my life when I was younger. It helped me to feel calm and, very relaxed. But I never chose it to be in competition with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I always looked at it as we can all do this together.
Okay.
Maybe naive or just optimistic, but I love the timbre. I love the sound. It's beautiful to me.
What? So if that's the case, then who were your influences as you were growing up?
Great question. My influences were uh, Dave Koz, Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, Grover Washington Jr. Man, the list can go on and on. Candy Dulfer, I have to say Candy because first of all, this woman is like, whew. First
Yeah.
of all, she's gorgeous and she plays an amazing saxophone. So I don't know, that was like a huge inspiration. Like, man, you don't see many women that's like killing it like that, at that magnitude. So um yeah, and a whole bunch of people. So it's hard for me to just pick like one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we went like even further back, I would say Cannonball Adderley.
Wow.
He's like some of the first music I actually started transcribing and learning. And at times I'll still keep Mercy, Mercy, Mercy in my show.
Yes.
I love that
Great
song.
tune. Great tune.
And you know what's great about it? It's not overly complicated, but what he does is he really controls dynamics in that song, right? He does his da, 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 and it just hit.
Right.
And then he comes back down and he builds it back up. So I don't know, that song got me like, wow.
Yeah, because you weren't born when that song came out, but we're not even going to talk about age and numbers and stuff like that. But just but just to let you know, I had the 45 of that record. Oh my goodness gracious.
The
Oh,
45.
yeah, you don't even know what 45s are, so we're really not going to discuss all of that. You
Oh
mentioned Candy Dulfer
my God.
and women. It's a hot button with myself. Um, what what is your feeling on women in jazz? Because obviously they're small numbers, but in those numbers, some of them are absolutely tremendous. Um, and I'm sure it's a battle, but you tell me your experience and how you feel about all of this.
I feel that they should have more of a push in the industry. They should have more support in the industry, because the women that you do see, I feel like they have to be probably 16 times better than the
Hmm.
competition. And not only do they have to play the part, they have to look the part. They have to, as long as we can remember, society has told a woman she has to appear a certain way,
Hmm.
accept it. So I think they could benefit from more support. I think the women that are out here doing what they're doing, they are incredible. I've been encouraged by them. I'm proud of them, and I hope that there could be more unity with the women, so that I don't know, maybe we can elevate this industry and get instrumental music.
Is it while you were deciding to play the saxophone, did you have some nervousness about doing this and getting into this business? And how do you overcome that?
I I'm always nervous. I'm naturally like a little reserved with people, even though as an entertainer you have to like push forth. But truly, I kind of always say I'm kind of in my turtle shell. Just that's just kind of how I describe it. It's just, um, I don't know. How do I push forth? I pray about it. I let God shine through, because ultimately it really wasn't about me. It's not about me. It's about um whatever God has to send through me to, heal or bless someone else. I'm just the vessel. So when I step back and I let him do what he has called me to do, then it's not in my hands.
It's funny you say turtle. I all of a sudden I've gravitated to watching this stuff on Facebook about turtles and barnacles. And I'm not sure if you know what barnacles are, but they're like things that attach to their shell or their underbelly or stuff like that. So I guess we could say if you were the turtle, the barnacles are the obstacles of which are holding you back. And there are people who look forward to removing the barnacles so that you can continue to swim and don't have that weight on your shoulders. So let me be a barnacle remover. Um,
Please,
I folks,
please.
we're gonna have some fun here today. I'm just telling you,
Okay.
we are. Um, how did you're born and raised in Cleveland. Here's the thing. I've read your bio, and I'm probably gonna jump all over the place. At one point, you graduated from Cleveland State University with a degree in music therapy, that sort of thing, and you get a job at Metro Health,
I did an internship at Metro Health.
and are you playing music for the patients? And if that's the case, are you not in great demand from the people who are laying there in pain and they're listening to you and thinking that's really good? Can you just, honey, can you come in here and just stay and keep playing?
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I'm glad you asked that, because there are a lot of misconceptions about what music therapy actually is.
Hmm.
And it was a very intense program that I went through at Cleveland State. But basically, it is we're using music to help them accomplish a non-musical goal.
Okay.
So while coming in and just kind of playing music to help them feel better is something that I liked to focus on. That's typically only seen in like a hospice care setting, end of life
Hmm.
care. But when I worked in Metro Health Hospital internship as a music therapist, we did more of the neurological aspects, where I worked in intensive care units, and it was helping people come back to reality of today, helping them familiarize themselves with who they are from their childhood, maybe a song connected to their youth that helped them recover, and then using those songs to help them gain things like speech, um, fine motor, gross motor, memory recall. So there was all these things that branched out of using the music to help them get better. And it took a team. It took a team. I worked with the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, OTPT, all of the doctors. We had rounds in the morning. So honestly, that was a highlight of my career, but it was just an internship that I did for 6 months, 40 hours a week, unpaid.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, it was tough. I loved doing it, but it just wasn't, fathomable to keep doing
Right.
outside. And then when I graduated, obviously, and I tried to get back into it, the jobs just weren't there in Cleveland.
Hmm.
So
Okay. So you've moved on from our fair city.
I have moved on.
We will
So
not we will not hate you for that.
no,
We are glad
please don't.
you can
Don't do me like LeBron James and burn the jersey in the street.
I'm not going to burn your jersey. All we're going to say is wherever you go, you just best represent the land. Uh,
Yes,
yeah,
always.
we'll say that. So early in your career, you had a chance to play with a group called Jazz and Pink.
Mhm.
We've talked to those ladies before, and I understand that they are very they're a group of women who basically provide music, but also, how shall we say, try to widen the opening for women to get into jazz. When it's the collective, is it easier for you to navigate that door? Is it, or does it matter?
I'm not sure. I hear what you're asking, but I'm just honestly, I'm not sure if it's easier or not. I always come to this. I always feel that in the genre, no matter what level you're at, I feel like we're all just kind of right now in this moment searching for the answers. What's next? What is going on with music? How, the shift of music. In terms of you mentioned you had a 45, back in the day. I mean, back then when there was a 45, the
I'm
C
hurting.
the tapes, even 8 tracks, it was a physical item that you could sell and recoup your money on. You can make money. And now today it's like we want to do shows, but what about the product? I don't know. So whether or not being with a group is helpful, I would hope so. I certainly was grateful for the opportunity to have played with Jazz and Pink. I'll never forget the call, the opportunity to come. I'm like, oh my God, this is huge. I get to play with all women because usually I'm all with all the guys, and
Right,
and I naturally again go on my turtle shell because I'm like, uh-oh, like, if I say something to this guy, is he gonna get like upset or something, or is he
right,
gonna so I'm like, dang, I get to play with women. This is gonna be cool. It was a totally different energy. It was it was beyond what I expected. I guess I didn't know what to expect, but it
right.
was good. These women were wonderful. And I found that we shared a lot of the same I guess kind of experiences in the industry.
The funny thing about that in talking to Gail, you would think that you're all from the same region. Yeah, you're all from the same region, and that region is the United States. So you got to fly from Boston, from Atlanta, from Denver. I remember when we did the interview, there was a young lady who was waiting to go to a gig, and she's sitting in the parking lot. And I'm pretty sure she was in Tallahassee. Uh, and then Gail was in California, and it's just like, really? So there must be, I don't know if I want to call it loyalty, but there
Uh-huh.
must be this loyalty toward this group to get together and perform.
Yes. I think that's the heart of kind of what it was established on. I believe Althea Renee founded it with Gail, and they worked together. And when I discovered that the majority of people in the band were kind of coming from all over, I was
Right,
like, "Goodness, this is great how these women are supporting each other."
right,
And to be a part of it was like, huh. And again, it's tough because if you're trying to do a show and the budget isn't large,
right,
you're spending some things out of your pocket. Maybe it's a flight. You're paying for your own flight to come out,
hmm,
and you're not really, making a lot of money. It's not like
right,
people's misconception, oh, you've made it. You're like, I'm not a hip hop artist, or where the thousands and the millions are rolling in. But I'm grateful to share that stage.
All right, let's take a moment. You've got a new song out called Nostalgia, correct? All right. Let's take a quick listen to Nostalgia by our guest on the Jazz Flyte Podcast, Miss Brittany Atterberry. There's a quote on your webpage that I found very interesting. It's not always about the destination. Enjoy the journey. Can you explain what that means to you?
So, in becoming a saxophonist, an artist, I've learned that there are levels to accomplishing
Mm-hmm.
goal, that dream that I had or have, there's levels to getting there. And while we may think, I just want to hit this like
Mm-hmm.
ultimate goal, so I can say I've done this, you don't want to get too, tunnel vision to where you miss out on everything that's going on around, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some experiences that may be tough, but there's also some beauty in there. And, even through adversity, you grow and you get stronger and you're like, man, wait a minute. Look at where I started and look at where I am
Right.
today. I know I didn't quite hit that ultimate goal, but
Right.
look at all the beauty that evolved out of, this journey thus far. So I say that to encourage other people, try and live in the moment. Try to live in today and not live in the future. So
Young, a musician, philosophical, and a lot of wisdom. I like that.
I'll
I
make you
like that.
thank you.
Blush. Well, hey, young
I
lady,
told
you might as well get used to blushing because you're
I
gonna get
told you
compliments left and right. So just
turtle shell.
so so you're young, you kind of new at all of this, and we were talking earlier. So you're an independent artist.
Yes, I am.
What was the because I'm old enough to remember when the record companies were dominant and you had Warner Brothers and CBS and Arista and so forth and so on, MCA, that was the thing to do. Why did you choose to be an independent artist?
Well, technology, I think, has altered our world tremendously. Um, and of course, something about me is that when I go into something, I usually deep dive into
Mm-hmm.
something. I am studying this thing from like the full picture. I want to know all the aspects. And so also too with social media, you get a lot of videos from people who are artists outside of this genre,
Right.
and they talk about the music scene changing, and they talk about what we have access to now at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Young people, we have an advantage, but the advantage could be a double-edged sword
Mm-hmm.
depending on algorithms and things of that nature, and just trying to get someone's attention today. But anyway, um, when I look at owning masters and I listen to someone like maybe Jay-Z talk about owning your masters and why that's important, okay? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is he talking about? Or you hear stories about TLC
Yes.
and how they, oh man, and you're
Yes.
like, for as big as that group is, they were really taken advantage of.
Yes. Yes. Very much.
And so when you learn things like that, and or you see like some of the guys who had, he's like, man, I walked away from a $3 million label deal. I left it on the table. I'm going, you left $3 million? I'm like, what? But why? Why did you leave that on the table? What's behind it? I look at it like that. So when it came to being an artist, it was okay. I was offered a few deals from some labels, and I had to really read the terms. I had to really sit down and look at this thing, and I had to look at where is this on this genre today? Where will it be in the next 5 to 10 years? How much of my life am I investing in giving to this company, and what's the ROI? Um, what makes sense? So there's just a lot of analytics that go into it, I think.
It's funny. I think of way back in the day, and we could name a whole bunch of artists from way back in the day. I'm sure they didn't worry about that, and I'm sure they didn't have the technology, obviously, that we have today. So not only are you trying to play your music, master your music, but you also have to master marketing, promotion, the technology, whether it's the computer, what apps am I going to use? If you're setting up a studio in your house,
Mhm.
I have that problem. How do you soundproof the room? How do you arrange the room so that you can do it? Everybody that I talk to, no matter what they play, always needs a keyboard. We lay down the first track doing keyboards, and then this whole thing of, and I don't know if you know the Manhattan Transfer as an example. Janis Siegel and somebody lived in New York. They laid down their tracks in New York. The other two lived in California. They laid down the same tracks. They get to Janis. They were doing this big project. Those vocals went to Germany. They mastered it over there, and then they sent it back to LA so they could put in the rhythm section. That's too much work. I'm just saying, it is. But that's the norm now. And I wonder, so for lack of a better term, your education of technology and media and publishing and then all this sort of stuff has also got to grow. And I'm sure you know this, it changes every other day.
Every other day. Every other, for so long, I had this whole like, I told you, turtle shell. I didn't even want to post on social media. I'm just like, oh, I don't want to make a post. I don't want to put. And someone's like, man, you're really good at what you're doing. I'm going, what's
Yeah.
it
Right,
about?
right,
Blow up. And I'm like, I'm not trying to. I just, hey, I'm just like knocking on the door. He's like, no, but it really takes that. It really takes that. And like you said, the process of it, got to go over here, got to go over there. Man, sometimes I wish I kind of had the opportunity of the old school where I show up, play my tracks, and I let
right.
everybody else do all those other jobs. Now
And,
I got to do all the jobs, and it's
and the thing is, all of those jobs outside of you were paid by the record company. Now you're doing all the jobs and your fee has not increased at all.
that part. That part. That's why it is tough to continue it, and you have to look at, is this sustainable? And if it is, every day I wake up and I am 100% believing in me, because I can't, ask Joe Smo, hey, do you
Right,
believe that I keep going? Like, he doesn't know what I'm going through. He doesn't know that I'm the email marketer who's sending out, all this stuff, and I'm
right,
bringing people in and trying to boost numbers. And then it's tough because you do all those jobs and you're like, okay, I need a show. I need to perform. I need to do stuff. And you're emailing people and you're trying to get these promoters, and they're just like, well, who is this? Who she thinks she is? How many
right.
how many seats you gonna sell? How many butts you gonna put in these seats, or you don't get an email back at all.
Yeah, know about those. Know about those so well. Let's listen to another track. Now, do you like Michael Jackson?
Wow, do I? So you talked about the 45, and this is where I was going with that. My great grandmother, I know, my great grandmother gave me her 8 track when I was a little girl. Okay, an eight
Mm-hmm.
track.
Okay.
It had one orange button on the top. I'll never forget this. One orange button. It had 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Okay. And she gave me Destiny and Off the Wall.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And I put that in there. And I was going through, if I wanted to hear that one song I really love,
You got to listen to
like
the whole thing.
human. If I wanted to hear anything, I had to play the whole thing over. I had to go back, man. The Girl Is Mine. All these songs. I was just, I need more. I need more. And even though, in the 90s, I had tapes and CD players, I just loved that device. I fell in love with Michael Jackson, and that's what made my heart go boom, music.
Did you did you love the track where right in boom boom in the middle of it it did that?
No,
That was the greatest thing about 8 tracks. You'd be jamming to a song and all of a sudden it had to change tracks and you're like, oh my God.
it
But
just
speaking of
changed.
that, and going to your Michael Jackson love, you've covered Michael Jackson's Human Nature, one of Darrell's favorite songs. So, folks, let's take a listen to Human Nature by Brittany Atterberry on the Jazz Flyte Podcast. Human Nature. I almost sang it, but I realized that I don't have that voice.
Come on.
Oh, wait, I'll tell you this. In 6th grade, I sang second soprano. In 7th grade, I did not sing second soprano. The worst summer of my life, but enough about me.
Wait, you
Uh,
you got like a Barry White singable voice? You got that low?
I
Let me
have
hear.
no singable voice.
Go
Here's
never find. Come on.
here. See, there you go. I really need to call Vita Shields right now and tell her what you just said. Um, um, See, now you made me lose my train of thought.
Ah,
So, you are coming to Cleveland soon.
yes, I am.
What, one, why should people come to see you? Two, what should we expect?
Well, number one, you should come to see me. Well, I think these kind of tie in together, right?
Okay, yeah.
You should come to see me because you're going to be thoroughly entertained. It's going to be a dynamic show. We're going to have a blast. You're going to feel like, wow, I wish he was here more often.
Hmm.
But also too to support um African American young woman who is trying her best to, I don't know, establish her love for music and to also, again, like I mentioned earlier, let God use me and step out of the way. You're gonna receive the energy because I pour 1000% into what I do. No shortcuts. And you're gonna enjoy that. So thank you.
All right, I will be there. I've seen some videos and maybe I'm confused. There's a really large saxophone in one of the videos. How, so people, you need to go to her webpage and see this thing because, oh, it's there. Oh my God.
In my studio.
How tall is that thing?
So that one is the subcontrabass saxophone, and it is 7.5 feet tall. 7.5 feet.
Oh my God.
And the other one, I believe it's like 5.5 feet or something. And that's the contrabass. So we have the subcontrabass and the contrabass saxophone. I know you're like, wait a minute, it's right there. I don't need
What,
to see.
what?
It's my studio.
It's a wonderful, I'll say ornament. Are we gonna hear that on a track that you play?
Actually, so I just posted a video of my husband performing on it. And I told him, I says, I think I'm gonna produce you on this one. Like we're gonna do some stuff. It's coming because again, this is my studio. I got stuff set up. I just have to figure out what type of song would fit that horn best because it is a subcontra bass. It's low. It's like playing a bass guitar almost. So he's gonna do some bass line work. I'm gonna write this out and produce him, and I'll probably bring in a keyboard player, feature keyboard player, and then I'll play one of the higher registers so that we do something together, husband and wife type of song. I do play it years ago. We played something together. Oh yeah, I played this too. Don't make me get up and play. I'm not gonna do it right now.
I'm not gonna get no.
I'll post something of me playing it. I years ago he played the largest one. And then actually I prefer playing the larger one, the subcontrabass, and he'll play the contrabass, only because of the mouthpiece. But we're gonna do something together. I don't know, maybe some Christmas stuff, maybe holiday. What do you think?
I just want to hear it. That's all I want to do.
Listen,
Uh,
go to my Instagram, Ms. Lady Sax, or type in Brittany Atterberry, Ms. Lady Sax, and that's on my Instagram. I just posted this, and you will hear him. I put a track out. I said, honey, I want to produce you. I said, let's see what you come up with. And he's just wailing away on this. So if you follow me on social media, you've seen it. If not, check me out on Instagram at Brittany Atterberry, Ms. Lady Sax.
okay, real quick, since you brought that up, what is your social media presence? Are you just Instagram? Are you anything else? How can people follow you?
So I am also on Facebook, I'm on TikTok and YouTube. Absolutely subscribe on YouTube. But the ultimate way of getting access is to go to www.brittanyatterberry.com, right? Because these social media platforms, they change. The algorithms shift a lot.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the best way is if I send you an email, you'll have access. But you can find all of my social media on my website too. So if you type my name in, click a little social button, it'll take you right there.
I think I saw that and I went, really? Can you play that thing? How much air does it take to play that? I mean, if it's just going up and at 6 feet, no, I'm not doing that. I'll watch the experts do it. Uh, Brittany, I look forward to seeing you in concert. Um, we'll get there. We'll see it. We will do whatever we can to get your music out there. You're a very talented young lady. I'm hoping all the best for you, and whatever we and Jazz Flyte can do, we will do. Like I said, if nothing else, you'll be posted on our webpage and everything else.
Wow.
Uh, anything new coming out other than
Uh,
nostalgia?
hey, I can't tell you that. You
Nah, she's
gotta
keeping
stay
secrets from me.
tuned. You gotta stay tuned. But I will tell you, that is probably gonna come sooner than later, as the seasons approach us. And I will say, Darrell, thank you so much for having me on this show. I am 100% grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you, to be on this platform. I know you have some other amazing talent that have come through here. And so to be mentioned is a complete honor. And I can't wait to see you in Cleveland,
Yeah, you'll see me. Not a problem.
October 11th.
Thank you. It's funny as I sit here and do these. I go, one day I should just put together a concert of all the people that I've interviewed. Okay, so it's going to be like a week long, just
Hmm.
because there's like almost 60 people that we've interviewed. So I'm
Sounds like a jazz festival to me.
sounds like a jazz festival. Yes, it does. I would have a lot of fun. And the other thing is, I'd almost like to have, and I think there'd be more laughter than anything else, is a round table of everybody that I've talked to and just different conversations. Because there are some off-air conversations, and I'm sure people are like, "How come he never puts those things together?" Off-air conversations that we have had that would, I think, benefit all of us, everybody involved. I think that would be really good, and I think more so would benefit you, the artist, because now you're because like I told you, I don't know who knows who. I don't.
I always wonder, how do we connect the community of artists? Because as these algorithms change, we're all kind of like,
Right,
you're not in that circle. You don't know what so and so's
right,
talking to, blah, blah, blah. Like, but we need to get, it's almost
right.
like working at a company, but
Yeah,
not having meetings within the
right.
company, you know?
It's like it's a 12-story building, and the first people on the first floor don't see the people on
Yeah,
the second floor, and so forth and so on.
yeah. We need some
Brittany,
community.
it's been my pleasure. We'll do this again. I reserve the right to be able to interview you later on down the line, and we can talk more about new stuff. Maybe we talk about the new record when it comes out. But we're gonna be there for you. As I say, I got your six. Um, so
Listen,
I
I'm
look forward to it.
I'm gonna leave with this. I'm gonna leave you with this. I want to first thank you and also thank all the fans who've tuned in to support your radio station, your podcast, your anything that you're doing within the community with instrumental music. And I'll leave you with this. I released a song called Keep Smiling. And I hope that's what you all do, is keep smiling no matter what.
Thank you very much. You have been listening to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. If you have questions, you can email me at jazzflyte@gmail.com. You can subscribe. You can just view. The more we get, the more opportunities you have to meet artists like this young lady over here. Thank you, and we shall talk to you next week.
Thank you. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I hope you enjoy these stories and soulful melodies that grew through the doors of time. If you want to stay connected with the latest updates and episodes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Until next time, I'm Darrell Scott.